Welcome back to another Algebra 2 video. Today, we're multiplying polynomials. In the last video for 4.3, we were looking at adding and subtracting. So if you need to go back, watch that video, feel free to do so. But here, we're starting our idea of multiplying. And this idea should be kind of familiar because of stuff we've learned in the past. Let's see if we start to pick up on this idea. So let's just say maybe you had 4 in front of your parentheses 3x plus 11. And well, what we would do with that is we could take the 4 and distribute it and multiply it with the 3x. Okay, but we didn't want to just distribute 4. We want to distribute 4x. So let's go through that. Well, 4 times 3 is 12. And x times x, well, that's something times itself. If you multiply something by itself, what you're getting is that thing squared. So x times x is x squared. Well, how that really works is when you multiply variables, when you take x times x, what you're doing is you're adding the exponents. So x times x, you're taking both the exponents of 1, adding those together, giving us x squared. Same idea with the 4x times the 11. Take the 4, multiply it to the 11. That's 44. And a lot of people make the mistake of just writing plus 44. 4 times 11 is 44, I agree. But what we have is 4x times 11. Well, that needs then the variable. The variable does need to come with. You can write it as x to the first, but realize that is just the same thing as x. That exponent is not necessarily needed if it is a 1. This next problem here, same idea. Take what's in front of your parentheses, distribute. Negative 6y squared times 2y squared. Multiply the numbers in front, you get negative 12. Y squared times y squared, though, if you have a variable and you multiply it. Multiplying variables tells you to add the exponents. So y squared times y squared, add those 2's together, giving us y to the 4th. Go ahead, distribute one more time. Take negative 6y squared times negative 5y. Negative 6 times negative 5 gives me a positive 30. Y squared times y, though, be careful again. Make sure you're adding your exponents, y to the second times y to the first. Add those together, giving me y to the 3rd. There's our answer for those first two problems. This process should be fairly quick. But what can happen now is maybe we start to get something more complicated where you have parentheses next to parentheses. Big thing I want you to notice here compared to the last video is there's nothing in between your parentheses. That means the parentheses are attached. When things are attached in math, that means they are multiplying together. So because there's nothing in the middle, we do have to multiply our parentheses. So doing that then, we can take everything in the first set, and that needs to multiply with everything in the second set, right? The entire parentheses are multiplying with the other parentheses. Well, one way you can show that, this can be done a bunch of different ways. One way you might show that is by taking everything in the first set. You could take the negative 6x, you could take the positive 2, and we said we want to multiply that with the second set of parentheses. Everything from the first set multiplies with everything from the second set. So negative 6x multiplies with the second set of parentheses. But we need everything from the first set to multiply, so the 2 also multiplies with the parentheses. Once you have that, go through your distribution, which is exactly what we did on those first two problems. Negative 6 times 8 is negative 48. X times x, though, multiplying variables means you add those exponents. Distribute again, negative 6x times 1. Well, negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. But there was an x in that multiplication. Do not forget it. Same idea, take the 2 and now distribute it. 2 times 8, 2 times 1, and we get this answer. But notice we're not done yet. At this point, you do need to still finish this. If there's anything you can combine, any like terms, things that have the same variable, same exponent. So in this case, we have x to the first on both those middle terms. So negative 6 plus 16 gives us 10. When you combine like terms, one thing to note, the only thing that changes when you combine like terms is the number in front, the coefficient. So that means the x to the first stays the same. Everything else that was not used can get dropped down with it, giving us our final answer. Okay, so these two values gave us the 10. Okay, there's our final answer for that one. This process can be changed a little bit. One thing that might happen is maybe you have 3x minus 1 squared. Well, again, squaring something means you're multiplying it by itself. And a lot of people mess this one up where they take 3x and they square that, and they take the 1 and square it. But that's not 3x minus 1 squared. 3x minus 1 squared is 3x minus 1. And we said squaring something is multiplying it by itself. So if I have 3x minus 1, I need to multiply that. I need to put it next to another set of parentheses that has 3x minus 1. Show it multiplying by itself. Once you have that, you can take what's in the first set of parentheses, and we need to multiply that with the second set of parentheses. So 3x minus 1 multiplies with both those terms. Go through our distribution like we did on the last problem. 3 times 3 is 9. X times x, add the exponents, is squared. 3x times negative 1 is negative 3, but again, do not forget the variable. Second set of parentheses, distribute the negative 1. That gives me negative 3x. Again, there is technically an exponent of 1 if you want to show it. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. But we're not done yet. We still need to combine any like terms we might have. In this case, I see that I have like terms in the middle. I have negative 3x and negative 3x. Combine those to give me negative 6x. Notice the exponent did not change. Everything else gets dropped down with it. That would be my final answer for 3x minus 1 squared. Last thing we'll look at then is just a more difficult example, I guess. It's just a little bit longer. So basically, it's the exact same idea. There's still nothing in between the parentheses, so we know they're multiplying. So I take the 9x and I multiply that with the second set of parentheses. And I take the 1 and I multiply that. Oops. So we take whatever's in the first set, multiply that with the second set. So I multiply it with 3x squared minus 7x plus 5. I take the 1, multiply it with that same thing, and I go through my distribution. Take the 9x and multiply. 9x times 3x squared would give me 27. Multiplying variables, add the exponents. X to the first times x squared gives me x cubed, then x to the third. Distribute again. 9 times negative 7 is negative 63. X times x, add your exponents. 9 times 5 is 45. Again, a lot of people forget the x on this problem here, but 9 times 5 is 45. We have 9x times 5, so make sure that x goes with. You don't technically need the exponent of 1, but feel free to include it if you'd like. Take the 1, distribute, go through that exact same process. 1 times 3x squared, 1 times negative 7x, and 1 times 5. Once we've done that, then we still need to combine our like terms, so anything that is the same combines together. So I see negative 63x squared and 3x squared. Negative 60 plus 3 would give me a negative 60. This is x squared, though, that we were combining, so it stays x squared. I also notice 45x and negative 7x. I could combine those. 45 minus 7 is positive 38. Bring the variable with. Anything you did not use gets dropped down with it, giving me my final answer. That is our 4.3 video. We looked at adding and subtracting polynomials last time. This was how to multiply polynomials today. Thank you for watching.